Le'Veon Bell will be returning to the NFL, but he says it will only be for one team. So, former Pittsburgh Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell, he made a huge announcement on his Snapchat story on Friday night, and he vowed to make an attempt to return to the NFL. As of right now, Le'Veon Bell is 31 years old, and before the season starts next month, he'll actually be turning 32, and he has not played a down of football since the 2021 season. But Le'Veon Bell believes his body is healthier than ever, and he's feeling better than ever, and he says he feels like he's in his 20s. So he strongly hinted that the only team he'd come back to play for is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like I said, Le'Veon Bell on Friday night posted a lot of stories on social media covering a lot of different topics, and one of them being that he would like to return to the NFL and that he would return to the Steelers as the only team. But let me just take you along all the variety of topics that he covered. He started by beginning revealing that doctors told him that he had arthritis when he was 20 years old, but he denied it, and he denied that arthritis is a real issue and pointed to football rushing players back from injuries too soon as a reason for long-term elements. And he also believes his body compensates for injuries, kind of masking the pain while playing through it. Bell shared the story of him spraining his foot in his first ever preseason game, and doctors told him that he would miss 6 to 8 weeks, but then he returned it in week 4 of the 2013 season. What he was implying here is even though the doctors told him he would miss a long portion of the season, he ended up returning so quickly, and he said that he should not have cleared protocols that soon, stating that he should have missed around 15 weeks in order to let his foot completely heal. So he's kind of going on rants about the medical issues in the NFL that has been going on, and with him specifically that he's dealt with throughout his career. But he said with proper recovery and kind of dedicating stretching that he believes it's possible to avoid constant pain in older football players that they tend to experience. And he says that's what he kind of cured his arthritis with. And he also said he's cured his wrist injury that is much better now than ever before. He says that his body feels basically better than it did when it was in his 20s, and that he feels like all this time off kind of allowed him to get right, and that's why he feels better than ever. But with him saying he feels better than ever, you have to look at it from a perspective like this. Le'Veon Bell last played in the 2021 season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he logged 23 snaps in the regular season finale against the Carolina Panthers. But since then, he's kind of moved on from the NFL and has done other things outside of football. For example, he embarked on a boxing career, having his moments in the ring, but it appears that he wants to give football one more chance before he officially kind of hangs it up and is done with the game. He's teased returns in the past and has made it clear in previous comments that he'd only play for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin if he were to come back to the league. And he said the only way he can prove his health and beliefs over injuries and kind of his stances in certain aspects of life is if he were to come back and return to football. So on Friday, he posted Snapchat stories and he said he won't start kind of training again until March. He'll test his body to see if it hurts to make football moves and to run and cut and determine if he can play again. But throughout the story, he kind of said that his body feels far better than it ever did a decade ago. Here's his official quote, exactly what he said. I won't start training until like March-ish. And I'm going to be honest with myself. I got to go out there and be like, I'm going to put my foot in the ground. Do I feel it? Am I hurting? Can I go out there and really play again? And bro, I'm telling you right now, when I go out there and train in March, and if I hit April and I make the decision to come back to play in the NFL again, mark my words, I will be better than I ever was, ever. And I will only come back to play for one team. Y'all know who it is. I don't gotta say no team, y'all know what team it is. End quote. So he doesn't officially say the Steelers in that quote, but in like other previous interviews and other previous social media things, he always talks about the Steelers. He always mentions how he still wants to play for Mike Tomlin and he should never have left. So we're all assuming that this is just the Steelers here. And he adds that he has not run a full sprint in about 1 year, but his body feels good and good enough to test his football shape. Also, just going back a little bit, when I said he's talking with the Steelers, even though he doesn't officially mention the Steelers, just to give you guys some type of evidence, he was speaking to the AP's Rob Medali in July of 2023, so not too long ago, and he said that he honestly only wants to play for Mike Tomlin again if he were to ever come back to the NFL. So you could go look up that interview if you want more evidence. But just going through it all, just looking at if Le'Veon Bell returns and if the Steelers should even want to take a look at him. Because why does the Steelers need him? Some of you may be thinking, it's over with. Just move on from him. He's been gone for a while. He wanted to leave. Just leave him out of the picture. So you look at it and you see we have Najee Harris, we have Jaylen Warren. And those are two of the clear top running backs duos in the NFL. And you look at it, and those guys are really handling a workload. And Najee Harris is more of the power back and someone who's going to run downhill. And then you have Jaylen Warren as well, someone who could run downhill, someone who catch at the backfield, and someone who stretch the field. He's kind of like do it all running back, while Najee Harris is more of the power back. So you look at it and you see we have those two running backs, and you're thinking, why would we need Le'Veon Bell? Well, we don't. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we need Le'Veon Bell to return to the Steelers, and he would be such a big part of this team. No, if he were to come in and just say the Steelers were to sign him, even though I don't think they would. I don't think they would go back in history after everything that the team has gone through with him and that he has gone through with the team. I don't think they would just sign him unless Mike Tomlin actually has a sit-down conversation and explains everything, kind of just saying, hey, we're not going to play you as much. You're probably going to be the third string running back. You're going to come in. You may only get a few touches per game if Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren need rest, but you're not going to be a player who's going to play a lot of downs like you once did. If you do come in, you're only going to play a certain amount, and you may not even see the field at all on certain aspects. But in my eyes, I don't even see that happening. I don't even see an area of which the Steelers would sign Le'Veon Bell and go back in history and sign him after everything they've gone through. Because I see they have Najee Harris right now, they have Jaylen Warren, and those are two guys that can really handle a workload, and all they really need is another running back to kind of complement him, complement those two guys, and just in case in any certain area, you just have a guy come in, play some downs. They rarely ever use a third running back. You barely ever see when Anthony McFarland Jr. was on the team, or their kickoff returner who only returned kick returns. You barely ever saw them in the game. I actually don't remember seeing them in the game at all. It was always either Najee Harris or Jaylen Warren. So they don't even use a third running back. So what was the point of them, Le'Veon Bell even wanted to come return if he would be a third running back? And I don't even know if he would want to come back and be a third running back on top of it. Does he want to come back? Does he think that he's going to come back and be the guy? Who knows what his attitude coming in would be? We have a good team right now in terms of everyone's bought in into a specific role. And Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, they're not complaining about their role. Yes, Najee Harris could come in and complain and be like, hey, I was drafted number 1 in the first round, and I think I deserve more playing time. But he's getting kind of like a 50-50, 60-40 split with Jaylen Warren. And he's not complaining about his role coming off the field on third downs, coming off the field for maybe a whole series and here and there. He's not complaining. So the roles on the team are really good right now. And I don't see a reason why to interrupt that with Le'Veon Bell coming back. I understand he wants to make a comeback. He's saying that he would only return for one team. But does that one team really want you right now? Especially when you haven't had a productive season since he basically left the Steelers. Since he left the Steelers, he moved on to the Jets, he played in Kansas City, and he played in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He also played for the Ravens. So you're saying since he left the Steelers, he has not had a productive season, but now years later, he's going to come back and he expects to be the best that he's ever been. I just don't see it happening. I'm sure this team doesn't see it happening either, and it's all talk right now until he actually makes an NFL return and puts his work on in the field, and we see what he can actually do. What's the point of entertaining this? So I just thought I would update you on what he has said about regarding the Steelers, because this is Steelers news, but I'm just thinking that this is not going to happen, and it's kind of just all talk at this point. But with that being said, let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on this. Would you want Le'Veon Bell to return to the Steelers? Do you think he could still play at a high level? Or are you like me and think they should just stay away? In my eyes, I think they're just going to stay away. I don't think this is going to be entertained at all. It's kind of all talk at this point, but let me know your thoughts. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content and analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications, click the bell down below so you never miss out and you get notified whenever I post next Steelers video. And I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.